MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Insert oral sex joke here.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. And someone please call the ASPCA, get them on the phone right now, this moment, dial the hotline, let them know that we need a lot of people arrested. Because hearkening all the way back to the second ever episode of MaJaMa Jams and the heart-puncturing wild beasts, we have a tale of mutilation that highlights speciesism, because if this was Jews in this movie, then it would be a documentary of the Holocaust. I am talking about 1982's Calamity of Snakes, which is horrifying. Don't watch it, and in fact, it doesn't deserve a discussion of this episode. Have a good night, everybody.
MaJaMa.
Calamity of Snakes. Legendary Hong Kong actor Cao Yuen plays a greedy developer who's eager to finish the construction of his latest apartment building in just 8 months. When construction uncovers a snake pit writhing with hundreds of snakes, Yuen's wife is keen to have them removed by a professional snake catcher, warning, "Don't kill them, or there will be retribution." However, with time already in short supply, together with the architect and office manager, they decide to do just that. They decimate the snakes and carry on working. Once the apartment is finished and all the tenants have moved in, hundreds or maybe thousands of snakes return to exact their revenge on everyone in the building, culminating in a snake-infested finale that is definitely something you don't see every day. Thank God. So, we are in awe right now. We are in awe.
We are in awe. The we just watched.
I will say this falls on you for pushing in this direction, that we had to see this. We've seen things we can't unseen.
I didn't even know what we were watching.
Am I supposed to be impressed? Am I supposed to be bored? Am I supposed to be mortified?
Yes.
Am I supposed to be a disturbing cocktail of all three of those things? Yeah. The plot is very straightforward, and endless snakes are butchered on camera, and you better hope, if you're hypersensitive, that you lean heavily into that cute animals being hurt hurts more. Because otherwise, whoo, 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 whoo. Where do we even start? Where do we even start? Here's the plot.
We did it already.
You just said it.
I'm going to recreate watching the movie for you guys at home. Loop that, Mateo, about 30.
You're doing the special effects, the sound effects. It's kind of like the birds in Birdemic.
Oh my God. Imagine if you do a mashup cut of the birds in Birdemic with the snakes in Calamity.
I think the birds would be worse.
Yes.
Just that screeching. But God, this movie for so many reasons.
Yes. At least, okay, first the positives.
Next, the negatives.
Yes. No, at least one.
It is virtuoistic.
It's called Calamity of Snakes. It delivers.
Yes.
At least it's not one of those.
Certainly a calamity.
Yes, but it's not one of those creatureless creatures.
No,
Creatureless
triple
features
down on the title.
that usually you have You know, remember when we saw what was Megalodon that they did?
Megalo who?
No, with Michael Madsen.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Exactly. You were expecting for the Meg, and it never showed up at the
That
probably.
was a rough
They're not
one.
even.
Yeah,
2
you
minutes.
think a movie called Megalodon would have a Megalodon in it?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, eventually, you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello?
At least this one, it promises snakes. It delivers snakes.
There is an element of, I mean, look,
Yeah. I picked up on that too.
there is an element of spectacle that is look. What the hell was the behind? What was it like working on this movie?
It's like seeing a car crash, drive into a pet store, and you're just watching all the animals burn to death, and you're like, what should I?
And in excruciating details also. There is a sequence of mongooses fighting cobras and other
I think it's
snakes, I
mongoose.
guess.
5 minutes.
Mongoose?
5 minutes straight.
And you get it. After the first one, you say, okay, I got it.
Not to mention the first scene when they find the snake pit in the hotel apartment building when they're first breaking ground, and then the main dude, Fuhrer,
Yeah,
Fuller, just starts going at this pit of snakes with not a bulldozer, some kind of, I don't know what it's called, crane thing. And then everyone around them is just taking shovels and bats and sticks to just mercilessly cutting snakes in half, cutting them in the head, just splicing and splitting them.
In front of cameras. This movie has a couple of fake snakes, mainly
Meaning literally two.
the two, which probably is the same one, big pythons.
Yeah.
Um,
That thing defied the laws of gravity.
yes.
I mean, it should also be amazing, right? It is kind of amazing in its own.
No, that's the thing. Is
Like you have to consider the fact that this was filmed. So they're like, all right, get down on the ground and just dump them and roll around and ride. Then we're gonna set the room on fire, and we gotta do that again.
Yeah.
This is your whole day. This is your
we-
whole day.
and we're
Get used to
throwing
it.
snakes at you while you're just like there.
Dude, I want to see the behind the scenes shot where you just see some asshole with a bucket of snakes just.
But when they're shooting out of
Yeah.
the basement,
Some
it's
bored PA.
it's weird and it's.
I mean, in one respect, I'm sure there's plenty of places in the world where snakes are an invasive
Yeah.
species and a
I'm
daily
sure.
threat.
I'm sure there is.
So I'm sure there are times when you
Yeah,
make
it's called the music industry.
you can make the argument that
This was justified.
this has to be. But
Look, you don't understand.
when
Where is
you're
this,
doing
Taiwan?
this, no, it's Thailand no, it's Hong Kong.
No, Taiwan/Hong Kong. Yes, definitely. One thing that it can be said about this movie is that there will never be a movie like this.
No.
Again. The closest thing that I was thinking while watching it, it was Roar. Which is virtually the same things with lions.
Yeah.
That movie took about 10 years to be made.
Sit down, you're okay. Oh. Oh. Sit down. You're okay. Sit down.
What's it called?
How many lions get their heads cut off with a shovel?
Not that many, actually.
really.
But Tippi Hedren got actually severely. They think that she broke a couple of ribs.
Who cut Tippi's head off with a shovel?
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock's gonna be pissed.
Yes. But because of course you can't train snakes, especially not. Here they're just like probably thousands.
You're just taking handfuls and hurling them at
Yeah.
your actors. Half the time it's like, oh my god, like it's a
Everyone stop, drops, and rolls immediately.
yeah.
When
it's like
in
you gotta
doubt, fall down. There is a little girl, and she's probably 5, in bed, covered with snakes. at a certain
I mean,
point.
that's why I gotta wonder that most of these actors, I'm sure, were accustomed to working with.
I
mean,
would
it was a
imagine so.
fairly large cast because it's almost a massacre scene at the end where you
Yeah.
have the final scene taking place during a party,
Dance, party,
New Year's
thing,
Eve,
yes.
something, and it's just full of people just dancing like assholes, and then just snakes just pour in through the ceiling.
That was
And
the last 22 pages of the script were just like that. People dancing.
just copy and paste that for the
It's a
next
lot of
22.
blank pages. It just 20 pages from the end. It says people dancing like assholes, snakes thrown at them. Is that? Yeah, that'll cover the next 20 pages.
Wait, except for this one, that is for the sequel.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Well, it's funny.
It's not.
We make the joke a lot that
It's not.
you can't really talk about the plot, but it seriously is as simple as they're developing a building, they discover snakes, don't kill them, we did, now snakes are everywhere. It's that simple. So like I
Yeah.
said, what's way more interesting here is what this must have been like on set.
Yeah.
What this must have been like, a scene like the entire finale. It just must be chaos on that set. How do you even control, how do you direct this stuff?
How could you keep track of all the snakes?
Yeah, in one
How many
respect, I
snakes
guess
were
it's a little
murdered?
bit easier because you don't have to worry about keeping everyone keeping all the snakes alive on like
Yeah.
a normal controlled set. And nowadays Hollywood,
True.
you would be worried more so about, the
But and also that's why
Alive? What?
that's why also the lobby of the hotel building, whatever it is so drab because it was clearly a soundstage.
Just give it a day. We're gonna drape it in snakes. It's gonna look great.
I doubt that they would go to the Marriott down the street and say, "Hey, you'd like to be in our
Yeah.
movie?"
They hired Harvey Firestein to do the set dressing?
Yes,
We're pretty sure we're gonna get all the snakes out at the end of it.
almost all
Like
of them.
90,
Don't worry about it.
maybe 80% sure we're gonna get most of them.
Imagine you've let your hotel be rented out and you come in on the first day of shooting. There's just literal thousands of snake carcasses. They're like, oh wow, these fake snakes look really real. Fake?
Not to mention our Bond henchmen, Bond villain henchmen, fire brigade, who come in to save the day, just start massacring this apartment complex. They bust through the glass doors in the front of the hotel without even checking if they're open or not.
Yeah,
They're unlocked. It's an
which
apartment
clearly they
complex.
were open.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they break the glass and then they push.
Oh, sorry. And then they go into the individual apartments and they're just beating the shit out of people's paintings and
Yes, there is
vases
one
and
who is a
lights and
vandal.
dressers.
He doesn't care about the
Yeah.
snakes.
When you say the fire brigade, are these specially trained professionals? No, these are men with anger issues that have nowhere else to get it out. We just point them in a direction. We say they're snakes, but they just start smashing everything in sight.
Why are they all dressed in quasi-futuristic clothes?
Dude, you hit the hill on the net. It's Dr. Evil's henchmen.
Do you like your quasi-futuristic clothes, Mr. Powers? I designed them myself.
It is literally Dr. Evil's henchmen.
I mean, I guess it could be like a fire-retardant blanket type material that they're made out of.
Yeah. Probably was asbestos, so they're also dead now, all of them. And
Jesus Christ. I wanted to be an actor. I'm suffocating this asbestos suit. They're just throwing bloody snake carcasses at me. It's not even noon yet.
I think the worst was the snake catcher who also has the shop, who was literally skinning a snake
Yes.
hung alive.
Yes.
And I'm just like, what the F is wrong with people? At
then
that
they
point,
drink the
like,
blood.
yeah, I can make the argument that yes, any animal can be meat. I eat meat, so I can't fight it. But like, there's one thing between killing an animal and like mercilessly torturing it before it dies.
And it's also always the fact that it's clearly they don't think of it as the same loss of life, you know?
As?
Human.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if this, no joke, if the amount of death in this movie had been translated to human extras, it would have been a huge, it would go down in American history, well, American movie, it would go down in the court system history as like one of the biggest legal cases ever. Like, there's so much death here, and of course it's so much easier when it's not like puppies or a freaking koala, it's a snake, but still, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just, once again, when you're killing something to make art.
Yeah.
F you.
Unless they say, no, nothing. There's nothing. Nothing unless, no, this one it was just like unforgivable.
Well, I should say that beyond that, it does kind of hit the sweet spot of the...
Beyond the torturous horrors.
Yes.
The spectacle of, like, even the way the guys look and, like, the guy's toupee and the intense reactions.
That's a Chip Diddleman wig. That is a Chip Diddleman wig if I've ever seen it.
Hi, welcome to Rap, where we rap of everything about rap. I'm your host, Chip Diddleman.
And that thing grows throughout the film.
Yes.
Like, the humidity must be getting to it.
It's kind of perfect for what we watched it for. It's just a little horrifying.
I could have gone for dubbing. I think dubbing more ridiculous, cartoonish sounding dubbing would have helped this be a little bit more palatable, because it would have seemed a little bit lighter.
Hello, this is #1 Lake Street. For God's sake, get here quick. There are snakes all over the place. For God's sake, come quickly.
Apparently there is also circulates a bloodless version where they cut all the questionable material, so it lasts about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but it's basically like Carrie, that you know that there is you trigger a problem, you lit the fuse at the beginning, and it slowly goes back, and then there is the explosion.
They should have just plugged up that snake pit.
Or called the, I mean, also they say at the beginning, okay, let's call the fire department, I think, to remove the snakes. No, there is no time. How long would have taken for them to remove those snakes?
Hey, give me 5 minutes, I'm out of here.
But were they digging that massive, giant rectangular hole, and then they got to the bottom, like, oh, there's snakes down here?
Apparently, yes, because they were saying there are 13 floors underground and 14 up, and no 4th floor.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Is that like a superstition thing?
I guess so, yeah. It's kind of like the 13th floor here.
It's very interesting how superstition is really worked into the fabric of our basic society.
Yeah.
Well, what about
Let's talk about superstition.
What about the subtlety of this movie?
The what?
The subtlety.
The what?
Like when we have our chubby character eating food, and then the editor decided that they would do a clever editing technique. So in the middle of it, I've actually not seen this before. It's actually a pretty subtle film technique.
Like she's on the ground already dead, and you're just like beating her skull into her face.
They cut to a pig.
Like, we get it.
Because first there is the chubby protagonist. She's eating.
Whoa, protagonist. Let's not.
I mean, no, yeah.
Let's not throw that word around.
Chubby character in the movie that she's eating probably 12 pastries or something in a row, and it's not enough to have a close-up of a waiter blinking his eyes and what? Then yes, you intercut with a pig eating. So just in case.
Remember the door bit? When she can't fit through the door?
Yes.
请。对不起，对不起啊。这门这么窄，万一有急事的话，跑都跑不掉。是，我们会再加大的。请。
And then she goes to sit on the toilet to test
Increase
it out.
this.
Yeah, it's like increase. It's like, ma'am, increase what?
加大啊！好，加大。
The load support, the weight of the width of the seat. What do you need?
How did the showing of the house go? Well, we went through it. She sat down, everything in the apartment, then said increase, and then just moved on. Like, what is she saying? Make this toilet bigger? Increase.
I wrote increase on the notes, but I don't know what to do with that.
She pointed at her ass. So
your notes just say increase in all caps over and over again.
At least we have still, since the movie is extremely subtle for its messages, because there are several. When the director of the works smashes accidentally a toy snake of a little girl. His boss arrived.
Thank you.
And very discreetly in front of the guests.
Like they're having a massive open house for an apartment complex with really wealthy, it seems like wealthy investors, and he just bitch slaps his Don Knotts assistant in the middle of the lobby.
Yes.
For falling on some little girl's snake toy. I mean, granted, it kind of fall because after he breaks a toy, he starts like twirling around, dancing with the little girl, like I'm sorry, and she's like calling him a jerk for doing it, and they're just spinning around like idiots for a minute. It just comes out.
Those are the first 4 pages of it.
It just comes out and backhands it.
Imagine you're viewing an apartment. Knocks over something. The boss comes over and just open hands him. It just completely emasculates him.
Can we,
with a quivering lip like Tim Curry in Home Alone 2, he's just like, so what do you think about the apartment?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Can we talk about the 17-year-old, 72-year-old Kung Fu master who we see him doing I can't tell if it was a magic trick, but there was no audience?
No, it's kind of like a meditation, I think.
But they were dressed like...
yeah, they were dressed like... Maybe he was rehearsing a show or something.
Yeah, because we open with just a box and 2 girls dressed like a magician's assistant.
Yeah, they look like from Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're just finishing
drop a couple snakes into a bin and then...
I don't even remember what the hell you're talking about.
You don't remember the dude with the painted on gray...
The snake in his mouth?
Oh, right.
And then, for some reason...
Eyebrows?
I can't stop thinking about it.
Jack Frost eyebrows?
Open palming the
guy. So we meet this dude who runs the gamut of ages. I don't know. And they
the expert. That
he's like he's like the Quint.
Yeah.
Like we need you to track down the snake.
He could be between 17 and 70.
Yeah.
There is no...
Hair's pretty slick though.
Yeah.
So he goes to he starts following the trail of snakeskin because I guess I don't know. Like
no, because they said that there was this gigantic python, and he had to.
It attacks a bunch of workers.
Yeah, and he had to get rid of it.
如果您能够替我们把那个大蟒除掉，我们老板会给您很多很多的钱呢。
So he goes following, the groove that he leaves on the ground and all the skin. Then he gets into a warehouse, a shack, or whatever it is.
Yeah, looks like a warehouse.
And he gets attacked by ninja snakes.
Yeah, first off, I guess ninja snakes.
They jump at him. He fends them off. One he bites it in half. One he rips it in half. at least when Penn and Teller did it, it was a trick.
Just like we took the rope, and as you can see, Elsie's very, very active, and we just took our same switchblade, and then we just cut her in half, and then we cut off each of the pieces just like that, and we cut off the other piece just like that. And after a little mumbo jumbo, we just totally restored her until she was completely okay, and then we threw that.
Yeah, wait, he is not the trained snake assassin, it's the Fire Boys?
What?
Who is he?
He's the snake.
He's supposed to be the only guy who could get rid of the...
Well, what about the Fire Boy squad?
That's just the fire...
Those are the fire department,
Fire
I guess?
department, yeah.
We just call them in, we need the building destroyed.
Well, all right, so we finally get a look at the giant python.
Who defies gravity.
Yeah. Who's like trailing him as he's going through the warehouse together. And then eventually they get into a kung fu battle where this thing is just like whipping him like Indiana Jones, and just flinging him back and forth, throwing him into boxes. I think he bites off a couple of his fingers.
It looks like, yes, exactly. Even if later on he seems fine when he's pulling the rope.
Yeah,
it seems that
yeah.
The hand is fine.
He's able to catch the snake in some sort of noose-like trap and strings it up. I forget how does he kill it?
They kill it. Just like it stops.
Oh, he just strangles
it. Stops. Yes.
And then
it's very hard to strangle a snake because it's all neck.
Yeah, it's all muscle. His boy servants come and take him out. One with hella harsh bangs.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Someone messed that boy up.
Yes.
There's a lot of it's 80, but it feels like 70s aesthetics in this.
Oh my God, we need to stop.
Anything before I don't know. 1992.
You wanted?
Not so much.
You wanted this.
Not so much because if you think about it, Jaws, except for the jackets of the mayor, is pretty modern.
Hairstyle?
Yeah.
It's not egregious.
You don't
maybe
because one of the most
sideburns.
One of the most depressing things that I was telling him is that Jaws this year turned 50. And but still, it doesn't look like, doesn't feel like a movie that is 50 years old.
Shit.
This is Taiwanese. This is Taiwan.
Taiwan/Hong Kong.
Taiwan is not China.
No,
of course.
And yeah.
Welcome everyone to this UN meeting. Before we get started, I got something I want to lead off with. It's been driving me crazy. Taiwan, China, not the same.
Also, yeah, the opening credits are sort of a
too much. Just tone it back.
Special effects.
Can't even tell what's happening.
2 colors of several sequences that we will see
Instagram saturation filter turned up all the way. Although I found it had a lo-fi charm. I mean, there was a like I said, there was a spectacle nature to this. You are kind of watching the whole time, like.
No, you realize that it's not a movie that
should be seen by
that should
anyone.
be seen, but they will never be made again.
How did you discover this?
Why did you discover this? Why did you share this?
Because I thought that it would have been an interesting conversation. Boy, was I wrong. I knew of it. I've always been fascinated by snakes. They terrify me, the snakes, but I always fascinated by them. So a movie like, for instance, or
The Black Hole.
Or The Black Hole. And yeah, this is what happened in this movie. Why they all died? Because they didn't run. They should have got confused.
Well,
gotta keep moving. Get it confused.
They never did that.
It is hilarious that because they want it to seem like the snakes are attacking them, most of the people just literally stop, drop, and roll. It's like, dude, you could kind of jump out of the room and be unhurt, but instead you're like, oh no, Mr. Snake, I guess I'm rolling all around you and getting bit up and
I fell over.
Oh, I fell over again.
Oh, I fell over. Oh, I fell over again.
Oh, Mr. Powers!
This is
straight to the floor. Straight to the floor.
These actors are gonna watch Samuel L. Jackson and all the gang of snakes on a plane, and they're laughing. So they say, "Oh, that's
Pussies.
cute.
Yeah.
That's very cute."
I mean, I really, truly wish we had a behind-the-scenes doc.
I was so
Right? It'd be amazing.
Yes, I've been trying to find. It's very hard to find information about this movie.
Are we sure it exists?
Probably not.
The
Probably
fever dream?
It's a figment of our
There's
imagination.
no DVD, no VHS,
True.
no physical, tangible copy. We could have imagined it.
Very true.
Oh my God, there's no DVD copy. Man, we did. Guys, what if it's not real?
So we get to our finale, where pretty much just the entire
pretty
apartment
epic.
building is being overtaken by snakes. The fire brigade comes in, first with fire extinguishers to...
Wait, they're just firemen?
Yeah.
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 Do you ever think there's a snake division?
Quick!
What were
We
they
waiting
calling
for this,
them?
boys?
The Fire Brothers? What are they called? They had some name.
Who?
The Fire Brigade.
I don't think so.
The Fire Brigade?
Probably.
I mean, it's the fire department. I mean, I think it's...
Why were they dressed like that?
Community's fire department. I don't know. It was the
I don't know.
80s.
Those are their uniforms.
So we get a couple snapshots of like a woman in a bathtub, little girl in bed, the old couple, the lady who's knitting and doesn't notice the snakes, an old man who's taking a nap and doesn't know he's getting covered in 20 snakes before one pops up in his face and he notices.
It's always nice in these movies that even in Snakes on a Plane, at a certain point, that the first time that the snakes are coming out, they crawl through everything, and I think that is just until a woman puts her hands in the purse that gets attacked. But you would think it's not that the plane is a cathedral. You would notice if there is something. And here's the same: they're dancing and there are snakes in between. One even goes up the skirt of the lady that Don Knotts is.
Oh, I don't think I even.
Oh yeah, she thinks that it's him, and then,
Oh yeah. Practically.
yes, and it's always like that. Everybody is.
Nothing seems faked. Everyone had to get. That snake went up her. It was in
I
her.
don't think that the panic was particularly acting. I think that.
I'm not an actor. Don't worry. We'll get the results we want from you.
I've been thinking about the car scene where the guy pulls into the parking lot. He's just running over and backing it over snakes, and then they just pile snakes onto the windshield, and then to get the effect of them breaking through, they literally. I mean, it could be. It could be a stick.
Later on, you see that it's kind of like the tail of the big snake.
Yeah.
But still, it's clearly as a pole with which they try to break the windshield. Actually, no, they do break the windshield, hitting the snakes also because they are in between.
Jesus. Or the scene where Fuller he's trying to save his wife.
Oh yeah, and he takes the sword.
Yeah, and then someone's just throwing snakes at him off screen, and he's just chopping them up mid-air with a samurai sword. And you think something like that sounds awesome, in one respect.
Yeah.
But then when you realize it's practical, it's like, oh God. And then he abandons his wife, who's been the one telling him this entire time that, hey, the snakes are gonna get. She has
the vision, a dream.
The opening credits were her dream.
Yes.
I done told you about them snakes that want retribution.
And then so he comes down the stairs trying to flee, and the fire brigade has finally cornered the large python in the dining hall, and he's hiding behind. He's ducking behind a bar like he's in a shootout. And so he finally jumps up. They bring in flamethrowers at this point. So you just see
that miniature cowboy.
You see a bunch of snakes just lit on fire, just piles of snakes just lit on fire because they start with the fire extinguishers, then move on to the fire.
Oh, the flamethrower.
Flamethrower.
All comes back to rats burning from episode 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way.
So I guess they finally catch the python on fire. He flies through the air and then for a good while is just hanging there somehow.
Yeah.
Just like dangling in there, wraps himself around our dude still on fire.
And it
then
takes forever to get down.
And this dude is like rolling around on the floor with a giant python lit on fire on top of him, and the fire brigade's like, hey, I'm sure one of you guys has to have a fire extinguisher or something, or have some kind of knowledge of how to maybe save this man's life. But they're just watching him like an asshole, just riding around in flames.
Well, he's already stop and drop and he's rolling, so he should be fine.
Yeah.
Did everything we taught him.
You're doing good, sir. Almost there.
We got a lot of other ones to get to, so...
The story of the Mogul's daughter and the boy, the architect, really goes nowhere.
No.
He saves. They go on the ladder.
He is the only one who has some actual dowsing, cutting corners, because that's the whole thing that they.
I saw plenty of corners in those hallways, though.
Yeah, but they cut a few. Because they keep on saying we have to do it within 8 months for whatever reason. Doesn't seem that there is a ticking clock, but
like if you're gonna do that, why not do like a Towering Inferno earthquake situation where it's like the building is also crumbling and there's just snakes everywhere. So you cut corners and then now the foundation is crumbling and you got to battle both and try to escape.
Yeah, because it doesn't come into place, the fact that they cut corner.
No.
It's not that you say.
And like the escape is not, there's not like okay, we got to get here. Oh no, now this door's blocked. We got to get up to the 13th level. There's a secret access elevator or a fire escape.
An external descent thing.
It's more so just like, oh my god, there's snakes. Okay, I'm on the rolling around.
Yep.
Just covered in snakes. Oh, there's a snake throwing my face.
And there are also those things like, a guy fell from the 13th floor and he died. Oh, fine. Go serve the dim sum.
That Mrs. Whatever was just like, you didn't know him.
吴妈妈，下面好像有人跳楼哎！真的，警车都来了耶！
多管闲事，又不是你们家的人跳楼，要你们紧张个什么劲儿啊？还不赶快把点心端出去，快去呀！
So a man committed suicide on the 13th floor.
You're so
the hors d'oeuvres are getting cold.
The guests are pissed.
Button your shirt.
Better eat these goddamn pigs in a blanket. If I have to hear you complaining about the people plummeting off the top of this building one more time. Every time
every time somebody jumps off the window, it's always the same story.
Every time there's a public suicide, my daughter just loses it like it's a big deal. Is there anything we left out?
No.
Well, let's express our forever bruised, shattered, hypersensitive feelings by throwing pieces of paper. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say how I do see your point. There is a spectacle here. And beyond, the oh my god, the murdering, there is like a holy crap, a relic. I also got it with wild beasts, so we're bringing it back. I'm doing 3. Because
What?
I think you say what?
What are you talking about?
It is a spectacle, man.
What are you talking about, man?
Right,
you had a good time in talking about this, watching it?
I'll add another one to do 4, but there is something there where this is like a jaw-dropping. What the hell am I watching? They went for the jugular. Of course,
literally.
You could say the same thing about the Holocaust, but they really went for this idea. And I'm not without seeing how Mateo felt about wild beasts. I'll bump it up 1 because you're right. I did hate the murder, but 4, not giving it the full.
We won't think it was more of an interesting film or funny. It's just...
I mean, we laughed heartily at the. Why is it so funny?
I don't think that justifies the point.
Why is it so funny that he's just open palms his assistant in front of everyone?
I go with 4.5.
The 2 of you!
Well, Once again, I despise that they despise snakes.
There's something.
But at the same time, it's so unique that you can say, "Oh, I've seen it already," something like that. So it's because of that.
Hypersensitivity's back, just like on episode 2. Hypersensitive.
MaJaMa.
Guys, maybe you want to check it out. Matthew would say hell no, but there is a jaw agape, eyes bulging. What the hell's going on? Like I said, impressed, bored, mortified. Sums it up nicely. I do think it was fodder for a good breakdown, and I don't think too many people know about
definitely
this.
Fodder.
So there was as many snakes as there were pieces of paper around us here. If it sounds like your type of thing, go check. Is this available on YouTube or anything?
Tubi.
Tubi. Tubi, as always. If you guys want to see this, go to Tubi. To be or not to be, not to be. Snakes died. Show a little GD respect. But from this couch, where his heart is broken, to your couch, this was a snake holocaust. The flames.
MaJaMa.
Here's Johnny.